Welcome to the Bible in a Year reading plan. Together we will read through the entire Bible. A portion from the Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms and Proverbs every day. Today's reading is in the video image. Read along, listen daily, and grow in the Word. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay on track with us daily. And you can always go back to previous videos if you miss any days. Numbers 28. Now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, To command the children of Israel, and say to them, My offering, my food for my offerings made by fire is a sweet aroma to me. You shall be careful to offer to me at their appointed time. 3 And you shall say to them, This is the offering made by fire which you shall offer to the Lord. 2 male lambs in their first year without blemish, day by day, as a regular burnt offering point. For the one lamb you shall offer in the morning, the other lamb you shall offer in the evening. 5 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil. 6 It is a regular burnt offering which was ordained at Mount Sinai for a sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord. 7 And its drink offering shall be 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. In a holy place you shall pour out the drink to the Lord as an offering. 8 The other lamb you shall offer in the evening, as the morning grain offering, and its drink offering, you shall offer it as an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. 9 And on the Sabbath day 2 lambs in their first year, without blemish, and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with oil, with its drink offering. 10 This is the burnt offering for every Sabbath, besides the regular burnt offering with its drink offering. 11 At the beginnings of your months you shall present a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 lambs in their first year, without blemish. 12 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with oil, for each bull. 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with oil, for the 1 ram. 13 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with oil, as a grain offering for each lamb, as a burnt offering of sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord. 14 Their drink offering shall be half a hin of wine for a bull, 1/3 of a hin for a ram, and 1/4 of a hin for a lamb. This is the burnt offering for each month throughout the months of the year. 15 Also 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering to the Lord shall be offered, besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. 16 On the 14th day of the first month is the Passover of the Lord. 17 And on the 15th day of this month is the feast. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. 18 On the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. 19 And you shall present an offering made by fire as a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 lambs in their first year. Be sure they are without blemish. 20 Their grain offering shall be of fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah you shall offer for a bull, and 2/10 for a ram. 21 You shall offer 1/10 of an ephah for each of the 7 lambs. 22 Also 1 goat as a sin offering, to make atonement for you. 23 You shall offer these besides the burnt offering of the morning, which is for a regular burnt offering. 24 In this manner you shall offer the food of the offering made by fire daily for 7 days, as a sweet aroma to the Lord. It shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. 25 And on the 7th day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. 26 Also on the day of the first fruits, when you bring a new grain offering to the Lord at your feast of weeks, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. 27 You shall present a burnt offering as a sweet aroma to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 lambs in their first year. 28 With their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram. 29 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. 30 Also 1 kid of the goats, to make atonement for you. 31 Be sure they are without blemish. You shall present them with their drink offerings, besides the regular burnt offering with its grain offering. Numbers 29. And in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. For you it is a day of blowing the trumpets. 2 You shall offer a burnt offering as a sweet aroma to the Lord, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 lambs in their first year, without blemish. 3 Their grain offering shall be fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, 4 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, 5 also 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, to make atonement for you, 6 besides the burnt offering with its grain offering for the new moon, the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, and their drink offerings, according to their ordinance, as a sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord. 7 On the 10th day of this 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall afflict your souls. You shall not do any work. 8 You shall present a burnt offering to the Lord as a sweet aroma, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 lambs in their first year. Be sure they are without blemish. 9 Their grain offering shall be of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram, 10 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, 11 also 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, besides the sin offering for atonement, the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, and their drink offerings. 12 On the 15th day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work, and you shall keep a feast to the Lord 7 days. 13 You shall present a burnt offering, an offering made by fire as a sweet aroma to the Lord, 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs in their first year. They shall be without blemish. 14 Their grain offering shall be of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 for each of the 2 rams, 15 1/10 for each of the 14 lambs, 16 also 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 17 On the 2nd day present 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs in their first year without blemish, 18 and their grain offering, and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 19 also 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, and their drink offerings. 20 On the 3rd day present 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs in their first year without blemish, 21 and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 22 also 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 23 On the 4th day present 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs in their first year, without blemish, 24 and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 25 also 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 26 On the 5th day present 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs in their first year without blemish, 27 and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 28 also 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 29 On the 6th day present 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs in their first year without blemish, 30 in their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 31 also 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 32 On the 7th day present 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs in their first year without blemish, 33 and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 34 also 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 35 On the 8th day you shall have a sacred assembly. You shall do no customary work. 36 You shall present a burnt offering, an offering made by fire as a sweet aroma to the Lord, 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 lambs in their first year without blemish, 37 and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bull, for the ram, and for the lambs, by their number, according to the ordinance, 38 also 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. 39 These you shall present to the Lord at your appointed feasts, besides your vowed offerings and your freewill offerings, as your burnt offerings and your grain offerings, as your drink offerings and your peace offerings. 40 So Moses told the children of Israel everything, just as the Lord commanded Moses. Numbers 30. Then Moses spoke to the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord has commanded. 2 If a man makes a vow to the Lord, or swears an oath to bind himself by some agreement, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. 3 Or if a woman makes a vow to the Lord, and binds herself by some agreement while in her father's house in her youth, for in her father hears her vow and the agreement by which she has bound herself, and her father holds his peace, then all her vows shall stand, and every agreement with which she has bound herself shall stand. 5 But if her father overrules her on the day that he hears, then none of her vows nor her agreements by which she has bound herself shall stand, and the Lord will release her, because her father overruled her. 6 If indeed she takes a husband, while bound by her vows or by a rash utterance from her lips by which she bound herself, 7 And her husband hears it, and makes no response to her on the day that he hears, then her vows shall stand, and her agreements by which she bound herself shall stand. 8 But if her husband overrules her on the day that he hears it, he shall make void her vow which she took and what she uttered with her lips, by which she bound herself, and the Lord will release her. 9 Also any vow of a widow or a divorced woman, by which she has bound herself, shall stand against her. 10 If she vowed in her husband's house, or bound herself by an agreement with an oath. 11 And her husband heard it, and made no response to her and did not overrule her, then all her vows shall stand, and every agreement by which she bound herself shall stand. 12 But if her husband truly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatever proceeded from her lips concerning her vows or concerning the agreement binding her, it shall not stand. Her husband has made them void, and the Lord will release her. 13 Every vow and every binding oath to afflict her soul, her husband may confirm it, or her husband may make it void. 14 Now if her husband makes no response whatever to her from day to day, then he confirms all her vows or all the agreements that bind her, he confirms them, because he made no response to her on the day that he heard them. 15 But if he does make them void after he has heard them, then he shall bear her guilt. 16 These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses, between a man and his wife, and between a father and his daughter in her youth in her father's house. Mark 8. In those days, the multitude being very great and having nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him and said to them, I have compassion on the multitude, because they have now continued with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. 3 And if I send them away hungry to their own houses, they will faint on the way, for some of them have come from afar. For then his disciples answered him, How can one satisfy these people with bread here in the wilderness? 5 He asked them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7. 6 So he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and gave thanks, broke them and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And they set them before the multitude. 7 They also had a few small fish, and having blessed them, he said to set them also before them. 8 So they ate and were filled, and they took up 7 large baskets of leftover fragments. 9 Now those who had eaten were about 4,000. And he sent them away. 10 Immediately got into the boat with his disciples, and came to the region of Dalmanutha. 11 Then the Pharisees came out and began to dispute with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven, testing him. 12 But he sighed deeply in his spirit, and said, Why does this generation seek a sign? Assuredly, I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation. 13 And he left them, and getting into the boat again, departed to the other side. Point 14. Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, and they did not have more than one loaf with them in the boat. Point 15. Then he charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. 16. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread. 17. But Jesus, being aware of it, said to them, Why do you reason because you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive nor understand? Is your heart still hardened? 18. Having eyes, do you not see? And having ears, do you not hear? And do you not remember? 19. When I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments did you take up? They said to him, 12. 20. Also, when I broke the 7 for the 4,000, how many large baskets full of fragments did you take up? And they said, 7. 21. So he said to them, How is it you do not understand? Psalm 59. To the chief musician, set to do not destroy. A Michtam of David when Saul sent men, and they watched the house in order to kill him. Deliver me from my enemies, O my God. Defend me from those who rise up against me. Point 2. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity, and save me from bloodthirsty men. Point 3. For look, they lie in wait for my life. The mighty gather against me, not for my transgression nor for my sin, O Lord. Point 4. They run and prepare themselves through no fault of mine. Awake to help me, and behold, 5. You therefore, O Lord God of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to punish all the nations. Do not be merciful to any wicked transgressors. Selah. 6. At evening they return, they growl like a dog, and go all around the city. Point 7. Indeed, they belch with their mouth, swords are in their lips, for they say, Who hears? 8. But you, O Lord, shall laugh at them. You shall have all the nations in derision. Point 9. I will wait for you, O you his strength, for God is my defense. 10. My God of mercy shall come to meet me. God shall let me see my desire on my enemies. Point 11. Do not slay them, lest my people forget. Scatter them by your power, and bring them down. O Lord, our shield. Point 12. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride. And for the cursing and lying which they speak. Point 13. Consume them in wrath, consume them, that they may not be, and let them know that God rules in Jacob to the ends of the earth. Selah. 14. And at evening they return, they growl like a dog, and go all around the city. Point 15. They wander up and down for food, and howl if they are not satisfied. Point 16. But I will sing of your power, yes, I will sing aloud of your mercy in the morning, for you have been my defense and refuge in the day of my trouble. Point 17. To you, O my strength, I will sing praises, for God is my defense, my God of mercy. Proverbs 28. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Point 2. Because of the transgression of a land, many are its princes, but by a man of understanding and knowledge right will be prolonged. Point 3. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain which leaves no food. Point 4. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Point 5. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. Point 6. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Point 7. Whoever keeps the law is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. Point 8. One who increases his possessions by usury and extortion gathers it for him who will pity the poor. Point 9. One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Point 10. Whoever causes the upright to go astray in an evil way, he himself will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will inherit good. Point 11. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor who has understanding searches him out. Point 12. When the righteous rejoice, there is great glory, but when the wicked arise, men hide themselves. Point 13. He who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. Point 14. Happy is the man who is always reverent, but he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Point 15. Like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people. Point 16. A ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, but he who hates covetousness will prolong his days. 17 A man burdened with bloodshed will flee into a pit. Let no one help him. 18 Whoever walks blamelessly will be saved, but he who is perverse in his ways will suddenly fall. 19 He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity will have poverty enough. 20 A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. 21 To show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man will transgress. 22 A man with an evil eye hastens after riches, and does not consider that poverty will come upon him. 23 He who rebukes a man will find more favor afterward than he who flatters with the tongue. 24 Whoever robs his father or his mother, and says, "It is no transgression," the same is companion to a destroyer. 25 He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered. 26 He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoever walks wisely will be delivered. 27 He who gives to the poor will not lack, but he who hides his eyes will have many curses. 28 When the wicked arise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Thanks for reading with me today. Come back tomorrow as we continue our journey through the Bible. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next day.